Très bien. Bon début de journée.
Est-ce que d'abord, bonjour.
Bonjour.
Est-ce que d'abord les règlements en français ou en anglais?
Tu comptes ça avec l'heure exacte aussi? Parce qu'elle nous a comme un peu Anaïs, tantôt.
On est à l'heure.
C'est là? Ok.
En anglais, c'est tout. S'il te plaît, pour notre équipière ne parle pas français.
Each team has 20 minutes to present a case to the judges. It will all up assigned for the last 10, 5, and 2 minutes. That would be good. As well as for the last 30 seconds of the presentation. During the last 10 seconds, I will indicate with my finger the number of seconds remaining. If you have not finished your presentation after 20 minutes, you will be stopped in order to proceed with the Q&A period. A Q&A period of a maximum of 5 minutes is allocated to the jury at the end of your presentation. Please note that at any time you cannot say or reference the name of it or the location of your university. I will now let the judges introduce themselves. You can start your presentation when they are finished.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Christopher Provençal, I'm a Business Intelligence Consultant.
Hi, I'm David Sharon, Project Manager. Marc-André Fontaine, vice-président marketing.
Donc, bonjour, je suis un juge et représentant de ShareWeb. Moi et mes collègues, Diana, Louis-Félix et moi-même Alexis, on est très enthousiastes de vous présenter nos recommandations aujourd'hui. Donc, on a passé plusieurs heures à analyser votre compagnie et on pense qu'on a des recommandations très intéressantes pour vous.
Alright, so I'm just going to introduce the agenda for today. So this is what your next 20 minutes will look like. We will first introduce the current situation, what is going on with the tech sector, and what is going on with ShareWeb. And then we will introduce the opportunity statement. And then we will go in with an analysis, followed by a recommendation and the implementation. So what is the current situation? Well, the current situation is that currently highly aggressive with, well, the competition is highly aggressive with big players such as Google, Amazon. I mean, these are direct competitors of ShareWebs. And ShareWebs is doing quite well with growth. I mean, ShareWebs has won a lot of prestigious rankings with Deloitte, as well as partnerships with companies such as BlackBerry, and these are great things. However, just like the theory of evolution with Darwin, survival of the fittest is key in every environment. And currently there is a lack of synergy amongst project teams, which can cause delays, so changes do need to be made so that ShareWeb can continue to grow and continue to prosper within the industry. So what is going on? As mentioned, there's lack of synergy between the project teams at ShareWebs. One of the teams is the developer team. So the work is, what is characterized by the developer team is that the work is linked to concrete projects. So the developers have tasks that are clearly defined and they dedicate 90% of their time to these projects. And they work in an agile methodology in two-week sprints. So they do these projects within the 2 weeks, and they unfortunately get delayed to unforeseen infrastructure needs. And that is a problem. And the other team, project team at ShareWeb, is the system administrator team. These teams, they work in a waterfall methodology, and there's a strict scheduling, so there are phases that they have to complete within their projects or their tasks. And however, unlike the developer team, system administrator team has highly diversified tasks. I mean, only 25% of their time is dedicated to concrete projects. Otherwise, they're doing maintenance, they're doing repairs. It's on an as-needed basis. However, it's unpredictable, so it's difficult to plan accordingly. So, given the situation, the opportunity for ShareWeb is that ShareWeb has to diversify its current offering into a business intelligence product. This strategy will yield profits of $3 million to $5 million a year, and this new strategic project will enable the implementation of new methodologies that will harvest synergy amongst the technical teams. So what this means is that in not only will implementing the business intelligence offer new business yield $3 to $5 million per year, but it will also facilitate a new methodology implementation amongst the teams that will harvest synergy.
So that's how we structured our presentation. We'll start with the new strategic project and then go on with the new methodologies, because we feel that the project enables this implementation of the new methodologies, or like the fine-tuning. So first off, we'll start with the new strategic project. It's instrumental to implementing the new processes, but also to sustain growth. As Diana mentioned earlier, SureWeb has received a lot of awards of innovativeness and rapid growth in the recent years. And in order to keep this recognition, because there's expectation from the market on SureWeb right now, you need to develop new products to keep that growth going. So there are two alternatives that we explored. One is to enrich the current offering, so just develop better your existing product, or do some partnerships with, or to diversify your offering and go into new markets. So we'll go over these two alternatives in pros and cons, and then we'll give us our decision. First of all, you can enrich a current offering. That would increase the retention of clients, because you look dedicated to what you're already good at, so your actual clients are happy that you put the effort to be even better. You can grow the revenues per client, so increase your share of the pie, and you can improve your reputation in your current field of expertise. On the other end, there might be potential interferences with your current partnership. So let's say you want a new email service to complement your existing one. There might be in the contracts some disruptions between the two companies you're partnering with. There's also a lower potential revenue compared to diversifying the business. And there's a perception level of innovation. You might not look so innovative if you just do what you actually do better. On the other end, diversification of current offerings can attract new clients that weren't interested in maybe hosting their data. They might be interested in the new product you'll offer. You can grow your revenues for your existing hosting clients, and you can ease the implementation of new project management processes. On the side of cons, you have more products and services to support. So as you diversify your offering, you need more expertise in these new products if you want to keep offering good services. And there's uncertain demand. It's not sure that because you develop a new product that there's a demand in the market for it. So our solution is to go with the diversification of the current offering. And within the solution, there are still three different alternatives. The first one is an integrated management systems offered on the cloud, such as an ERP. You could also offer a business intelligence software or supply management apps. And I'll let Alexis go through the decision for these three projects.
So with our three alternatives, and the thought process, how do we pick between those three? So we came up with 4 criteria that we think are very relevant in this situation. So the first one is our capacity to support clients. So we're offering this new product. When clients have problems, when they call in, we need to have an understanding of this product so that we can offer adequate support. We want the new product to complement the current product line, so it's something that can be used along with the other products and then be very useful. It needs to have a potential demand in the market for this new product, and it needs to have an easy adoption for clients. So we wanted this product to be a product you can buy, you can start using, and use in your business without having to change your whole way of doing business at your company. So with that in mind, so first for integrated management, so it's something similar to an ERP system. And the main problem with it is that supporting clients would be very difficult because those are very complex and large systems that would like the main focus of a company to get it right. Then it doesn't very much complement the product line because it's so central, so important. It's not like, oh, you have email, now do you want an ERP with it? Like, it doesn't work so much. Then ease adoption, you have to change so much. It's a big decision, so we're not going with it. Then for supply chain management, support is also a bit tricky because it's so large and important, and ease of adoption, you'd have to change your whole processes of doing supply chain. So we thought that business intelligence is a better idea as an additional offering because it's easier to adopt, we can support it complements our product line, and it has a lot of demand right now, with a lot of trends of people who have a lot of data, but they might not necessarily know what to do with all this data. Okay, so this is how our recommendation goes, why the business intelligence software is so good and so. Clients have data. They're currently offering services to host data, so data storage. So you have data, but what do you do with it? So we want to offer the business processing for BI software. So you'll now be able to analyze your data and extract information out of it. And then this information, you'll be able to make decisions on it and take action, so you can really benefit and have all the value extracted from your data.
So the parts in red represent SureWeb can offer. So before it was only the data that was in red, but now with the BI software you can provide a more complete solution to your clients. So they're already hosting, now why not bridge it to business intelligence instead of having them do it on themselves? You're just offering an extra service.
Okay. So this is how we have like a good, also like it's so complementary to the current product. So how we see it is that you have data housing, but the benefit of it is limited right now. Extract that information with the BI software, you get more value out of your data, which means that you might want to host more data, even more. So now you can get to sell more hosting, and that in turn will need more BI software, because we see it as a per user thing. So if you have more data to analyze, you'll need more users to use the software.
So how is it going to work with this new software? The business model that we propose is that it is to be offered on a per user fee. So basically, the user will just pay a fee and be able to use the software. And if they want more, then there are bundle opportunities and discounts that can be offered as well.
Okay, so we'll go more into financials right now. So how will the revenue from this new project look like? So first, our pricing, we have a price of $50 per month, in line with your other products that you're currently offering, and then based on also application scope. So. Okay, so how many users? We thought like for each client that you sign, each business, they would have approximately 2 to 3 users per business using that software. Then we assume that you currently have about 25,000 clients, and that 10% of these would be interested in buying the new offering. And on top of that, there would also be 500 new clients that would sign up. So that would bring you to a revenue of about $3,600,000 to $5,400,000 a year if you have all these clients with all these users. And then there's also the side of the cost. So based on other projects that we saw that had like about 33 employees working on it, we estimated that 25 to 35 people working a year on this project was reasonable. We estimated a salary cost, including salary and benefits and everything like that, at $80 an hour. And we averaged 25 hours a week, meaning that we think developers will likely work on it full time, but other people like system administrators might put in 10 and 20 hours for an average of 25. So over a year of 50 weeks, the labor cost would be $2.5 million to $3.5 million. So how does that payback look? So for the construction, the project would cost $3.5 million. Operating cost to maintain it about $700,000 a year. With the revenue of $3,600,000, that's an annual profit of $2,900,000. So the payback would be a year and a half. And then if you look at the optimistic scenario, which looks a lot better, the payback is half a year.
So now that we've covered the development of the new product, we still have to cover the missing synergies between the two technical teams. So here are the main identified problems. From the developer's perspective, there might be unforeseen events like last-minute infrastructure needs that delay the projects. If a project is delayed, you can't charge it to your final customer. So it's not only increased costs, it's also loss of potential revenues in the end. On the side of these system administrators, they might discover vulnerability issues once the developers are done developing their whole program. So they need to delay the project, obviously, and they need to tell the developer to go back to their codes and rework them, which obviously frustrates people. Like, we're all human beings, we're not machines. So being asked to redo something you've already done surely frustrates the user. So we have come up with 3 small fine-tuning solutions that could improve the synergy. First is to have an infrastructure buffer. What we mean by that is sometimes you might need a server to develop an application because they don't have it right in the moment. So what we propose is to either have extra servers in-house, so 1 or 2 that you keep in case you need them in development projects, or you have a third-party on-demand provider. But that's unlikely to fit your business strategy or business vision, given it's what you do, your core business is to offer this. So the infrastructure buffer is really there in needs when projects are to be delayed. You use these extra servers to run the development. Solution number 2 is to have a better communication earlier. So we've seen that the developer works in iterative developments with Agile, with sprints of 2 weeks. What we propose is to have system administrators, so 2 guys from the other team, go to the sprint meetings of the development team, the first meeting of the 2 weeks, and make sure to try to identify the potential infrastructure needs. So try to foresee unforeseeable events as much as possible. That's why you have senior, because you have more veteran people that can better foresee the problems. And then one of the system administrators, one of these 2 guys, become a dedicated liaison between the 2 teams. So he's dedicated full-time to the project when there are projects going on. And when there are no projects, he's just as all the other system administrators. So there's a dedicated guy relating the 2 teams. And the final solution is to include the production in the development cycle after every sprint. So when you're done the sprint, try to run it as if it was a regular software on your production servers. And therefore, you can see the issues earlier as they come up. And when you go to the meetings of the next sprints with your 2 system administrator or the liaison guy, he has seen the problems in the infrastructure in the production, and he can tell the developers to do it in the second sprint rather than tell them to rework their codes once everything is done.
And the benefit of all these methodology changes is that there will be more cohesion between the 2 technical teams. So this way they will be able to streamline their processes and not have those project delays that were mentioned in the problems. So, and in this sense, projects will be completed earlier, and this will be able to achieve goals on time so that there will not be wasted time, and which will obviously rack up more costs for SureWebs. And there will be an improved sense of ownership in this sense, more control with the company, and basically also result in more polished products. And further what we were talking about earlier in terms of keeping up with the great image that SureWebs has already achieved.
So there's also a financial side to these improvements to methodology. So it's saying that if you want to have extra capacity, 2 servers could do it. And then your cost to clients is $52 a month, so we estimate that your cost to you is $30 a month. And so that's a cost of $720 a year just to have servers that are basically doing nothing just in case you need them. But the benefits of that are big. So when they need the servers, instead of going to the system administrators to do the whole process of getting extra servers, now you already have them. So you save that time. That means your project finishes earlier, you earn revenue earlier. Estimated at 2 weeks, if you have a lot of clients, it can be worth $35,000. And you also save idle labor. So people don't have to wait for those servers to be available because they already are.
Risk mitigation, we've identified 2 potential risks. The first one is, as we mentioned, there's a guy doing the liaison between the 2 teams. If this guy leaves the firm, he could bring with him a lot of knowledge, and that's why we had 2 guys at the first sprint meetings. This way, if the liaison guy leaves the firm, the other one that attended all the sprint meetings can pick up and take his place to do the remainder of the project. There may also be a lack of demand for a BI software that is uncertain. So as a first step for implementation, we will survey our current clients to make sure this offering is worth it. If it's worth it, then we can go on with the project.
Okay, so here's all the steps of our implementation. So first we survey the client, then we announce the project to the technical teams. Then we use that context of the new project to introduce the changes to the methodology. Then the next step for us is to identify the partner will provide the BI software that will be hosting on the cloud. Then we want to develop the control panel for this new software. Then we want to put all this in production, implement it on our servers. Then when the project is finished, we want to review the methodology changes to see that they brought the benefits that we thought they would, and to see the modifications that need to be made so that it's even better. And finally, we'll commercialize the new product.
Pour conclure, on a deux éléments que nous aimerions que vous vous souveniez de notre présentation. Premièrement, on propose d'ajouter à votre ligne de produits actuelle un service de business intelligence pour complémentariser votre offre actuelle. Et on propose aussi des changements mineurs aux méthodologies en place pour s'assurer que le top management n'est pas à s'impliquer dans le travail quotidien et que les deux équipes règlent eux-mêmes leurs problèmes en prenant responsabilité avec l'acteur qui sert de liaison entre les deux groupes techniques. On vous remercie d'avoir écouté notre présentation et on ouvre le plancher pour les questions en anglais ou en français.
Merci.
Monsieur? Could you explain me briefly how does a business intelligence software works?
Okay. So there's multiple parts that you can do with business intelligence. So first you have all this data, right? You can make tables, that's hard to visualize. But the business intelligence, one of the roles is you can create dashboards. So some of the things you can do with dashboards, you can see, okay, like what's my sales for this month? I want to see that, like, for, say, on a map for like every city. I want to have like colors, shades, see like where it's going well, where it's not going well. So dashboards are a big part of that. And you can also do like data mining. You could see like identify trends in your sales, identify correlations between like what you're doing and the impact on sales. So all your data really want to have visual information, so graphics, and also trends. So not just what do they mean for you, that you can make decisions in your stores and your business.
That's the sales pitch for our customers, but under the hood, how does it work? How is it possible to make those things available? How is it created so we can create dashboards with it? How does it work under the hood?
So you mean like from the software and the server? So I mean, I guess it depends on the details, but how I would envision is you would host all your data on a database. So you would have to like first structure it so that it conforms to like the software you have. And then you'd have someone like use the software to like create all these dashboards, be computed on the server, and in the end the customer would access it through the web. Yeah.
And do you know some partners you can partner with to offer this BI offering?
I know one who does it is a Tableau software.
Okay. And in your project cost, you said like 3.5 million. You only count the labor, but do you also count like the offering itself, like the partnership that will
have the license,
the licensing, and the server costs and so on?
No, we love this out because we don't really have an idea.
Okay.
But I mean, realistically, it might take maybe like half of the profit.
Okay. And developing this new offering will take, you said, like almost a year. So this product will probably pay back in 2.5 or 3 years. Okay.
Yeah, we meant the payback as it's commercialized. So the day it's commercialized, 1 year and a half.
Okay.
So 2 years at the start of the project.
I think we all have a lot of questions about like the 3 solutions you mentioned for the methodology, because I think it makes sense. So, great.
Is that it? As-tu une question? Moi, vas-y. Non, j'en ai pas. I might have one question. Are those solutions 1 through 3 for to fix our problems with the developers and the system administrators? Are those 3 solutions that we have to pick from, or you would say implement those 3?
I would say implement all 3.
together?
All three together. One is more a human resources solution, the one with the liaison. The other one is the hardware. I mean, that's the perspective we had. I don't know if it happens really often that you're missing a server. That's why we provided maybe the third-party provider. And the third one was, after the sprints, you put into production, that's the testing. It's not only done by developers. Now you give them to the system administrator, they run it at a smaller scale, and they test it themselves, so they see, the two teams have tested it on their both sides, and they see.
How do you see the workload with that? If we start implementing every week, every 2 weeks, part of the software, how do you see this increase in workload?
Well, now we've dedicated one guy to the project, so he's obviously attending all the meeting, doing the coordination, but he's probably not doing 40 hours of just passing message and coordinating two teams. So obviously this guy probably has 20 hours a week that he can dedicate to this implementation. It's just that this guy has the vision of the system administrator, while the developer, when we tested their software, they had only their vision of development. So the bugs might not be the same. So this guy was not both expertise, even more expertise in system administration. He has this 20 hours to do dedicated tests to test the vulnerability issues you mentioned.
Thank you.
Merci beaucoup à vous. Espérant que vous aille.
Merci.
Bonne fin de journée.
Merci, bonne journée.
Amusez-vous bien. On est off the hook.